So basically, if you have an opportunity, a business opportunity, let's say hypothetically speaking, and you're presenting your service or what you have of value, and somebody turn you down, give you a no, let's say, take that as a yes, because every person is meant to approve of you. You're meant to approve of yourself. So self-approval is the most important approval. Self-approval is the best approval. So whether the person give you a yes or a no is all based upon what they're going through or their level of perception. So they may have a job, um, whether or not they may have a job, but they may not always have that job. They may be the person to get fired. So you cannot base your level of achievement or your progress moving forward based upon someone else's viewpoint. So in other words, you have to be extremely courageous, extremely self-defining and self-approving in your approach, and basically believe so much in yourself that people automatically believe in you and want to invest in what you have to offer. So just keep in mind that you create your own version of success. You define what success is to you. Yes, and also remember this. Every person is not always in a consistent flow state. Everybody has mistakes. Everybody possess failures in their life on their journey. So basically, in so many words, you have to embrace the concept that being great is also being not so great at times. So that's just the reality. And it's not about, looking, so the more and more, like, if I make a mistake, so what? Uh if I have 50 no's, all I need is one yes, so I'm willing to take that chance by doing and thinking less. So that's the key: thinking less and doing more. And the brain deals with thinking, second guessing. The heart knows, so the heart knows, the brain thinks. So think less and flow more from your inner knowing, trusting that which you know. um so I'm gonna read that part. I'm gonna start over, and I'm gonna read everything it just described about the musician. Okay. So as a master manifester, the musician brings you the tools, resources, and energy you need to make your dream come true. Seriously, everything you need right now is at your fingertips. You have the spiritual fire, physical earth, mental air, and emotional water. Resources to manifest your desire. When you combine them with the energy of the spiritual and earthly realm, you will become a manifestation powerhouse. The key is to bring these tools together synergistically so that the impact of what you create is greater than the separate parts. This is alchemy at its best. And that's the beauty of it, of you being, because you must, like what you just stated about your daughter. She's a great manifester, and automatically I know that she gets that from you. So you have to know that all magic works because of your mind. Your mind is the magic. So based upon your belief and you putting your thoughts into physical action, you're making the intangible tangible, in other words. And you're basically bringing the spiritual creativity or the divine flowing energy that's flowing through you. You're allowing it to manifest in the way in which you operate in your reality and manifest things. So be extremely confident, and you finding out everything that you need to find out to make everything fall into place. It's not meant to all make sense at once, but when it do make sense, it's gonna make sense why it didn't all make sense at once. So in other words, everything is coming full circle, and you just have to be extremely systematic and detail oriented in the way in which you plan, and also just be extremely consistent and trusting in your ability, because confidence is all about trusting in your skills and trusting in your abilities to produce a highly effective outcome. So let's see. as we go on the cart, it says, now is the perfect time to move forward on an idea that you have recently conceived. The seed of potential has sprouted, and you are being called to take action and bring your intention to to fruition. The skills, knowledge, and capabilities you have gathered along your life path have led you to where you are now. And whether or not you know it, you are ready to turn your ideas into reality. So basically, in so many words, you can never, like, don't attempt to be over prepared, because you can never factor in enough. Like, one thing I noticed about myself personally, one thing I used to do is I used to take preventative measures to make sure I factor in enough data before I proceed ahead. But what that does is creates analysis paralysis, to whereas you overthink or you think about the action so much that it actually prevents you performing the action. But when you're in a
Oh wow.
knowing, huh?
Oh wow, yes. And at times that I know that I overthink, and sometimes I can overthink something out of my reality.
You say that one more time.
I stated I overthink, and I noticed that I can overthink, and I can overthink things out of my reality.
Okay. I feel that. And
Because you're putting some energy in that negativity to that, and that positive has no way to meet me. You
yes.
understand?
Yes.
So now I have to do, like you stated, I have to do less thinking and more doing.
Yes. Yes. That's the key.
I
That's
get
the
that.
key.
I get that.
Because it's
I get that.
like, always remember this. Every successful speaker, they all deal with anxiety. Even before they go and speak, no matter if they did it plenty different times. It's going to be times they still have to struggle with self-doubt and anxiety, because these anxiety, fear, and nervousness are all basically defense mechanisms. So you cannot actually get rid of these negative emotions forever or permanently. You can only get rid of them to a certain extent, but they're used to our benefit if we use them the correct way. And we have to know how to be comfortable with feeling
Right.
uncomfortable. So make sure you master being comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Like, one thing I do to challenge myself is, anytime I have an insecurity or a so-called fear, I force myself to face my fear. I challenge myself to wear my heart on my sleeve. And like, one thing I've been doing lately, recently, is basically forcing myself to take cold showers. And one thing that mechanism does, or that method does, is basically push you in it activates your adrenaline, but it also shocks your brain
I heard
into.
that. It puts you in a shock.
Yes.
It puts your body to a shock.
And it activates the lymphatic system, to whereas it removes a whole lot of inflammation out of the body, but it also allows
Yes.
you to be more present in the moment. It allows you to be more courageous and to be more mentally strong. It builds mental strength. So it's a powerful thing, because you're challenging yourself, you're facing yourself. So every morning that I wake up, I force myself to challenge myself, and that's key. So you must always, like, at one point in time, I used to I asked myself the question: would I be satisfied if I died today? Would I be satisfied with the life I have lived? And I told myself no. I was about like 18 around the time. And so what I did that same night, I challenged myself to go up on a train and speak to the whole train. The next morning, I got up on a bus and spoke to the whole bus. I got up on the next bus and spoke to the whole bus. And the next bus after that, and spoke on the whole bus. So I had this fear, but I wasn't gonna let it overcome my courage. So in other words, being fearless is not
Okay.
is basically being comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, and being fearless doesn't mean that you don't fear. It just means you fear less. So in other words, being fearless is not being scared to be scared.